Joined here by SVSU men's golf head coach Joe Vogl. And Coach, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you on your team's entrance into the 2014 Division II National Champions.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Coach, could you just talk a little bit about the weekend's events? The first day ended up 17th place, improved a couple spots to 15th, and then, a pretty remarkable finish on the last day of competition to jump into third place to seal up the national championship bid.
Yeah, it was I have to say it was a pretty crazy day all around on that Wednesday last week. The tournament started on Monday, and we shot a 312, not very good as far as what you would expect to be able to do when you get to that particular tournament. The neat thing that started happening is even though were not playing well the second day, things started changing on our second nine of the second day. In fact, we actually came in at 5 under par as a team on that the second nine of the second day. And then continued on with that kind of pace where we ended up 3 under for the 18 the next day. So really, last 27 holes we're -8 under par, and I'm not sure there was any other team close to those kind of numbers in the entire tournament. And as we saw, our 285 had beat Malone's best round of the tournament, who ended up winning the tournament. What was that? A difference of 6 shots there alone. So, we got hot. We got, it's one of those things where you draw it up on the board and say, okay, boys, if we do this and we get a little luck, and the luck in this case was the winds kicking up in the afternoon. One of those things where, it kind of came off the way that you draw it up, and it's very, very rare to have something like that happen, and particularly this stage of the tournaments. And then also seeing a jump from 15th place to 3, I mean, that in itself is almost heard of. So I would think when it comes to super regional time for many years to come, they're gonna come back at some point and say, okay, yeah, but remember the year Saginaw Valley did this. And that's kind of the neat thing that these guys are going to be able to hang on to for the rest of their lives, is having that kind of a turnaround and that kind of a conclusion to a just a crazy day on Wednesday. I'm not sure I've ever experienced anything like it as a coach or as a player. But when you're sitting around, your score's already in the barn, and everybody's trying now to beat your number, that's a pretty good feeling that we had that day. And we still had to wait to the end. It was a 5-6 hour wait for us, for it all the dust to settle and for us to come out where we did. But well worth the wait.
Yeah, you touched on it a little bit, but talk to us a little bit about, your state of mind, the team's maybe emotions they're thinking. You put up that number, you get up to maybe the top 12, then creeps down to 10, creeps down to 11, then you just slowly begin creeping up the leaderboard as the other teams, continue competition.
Right, and that was the fun part of the afternoon where, again, we're sitting around and watching basically the carnage take place on GolfStat. Which, by the way, 5 years ago, without GolfStat, we would have been sitting around not knowing what was going on, and then everything get posted right at the end when things get up on the scoreboard. But the one thing I failed to mention so far is that these guys never gave up. No matter how far behind we were or what we shot on Monday, we went back out after Monday and had a practice range session, which I thought was really good, and I'm going to say it paid off, but I think their mental attitude for the entire tournament was never give up, and they consequently that paid off. Now, with respect to that afternoon and waiting and watching GolfStat, yeah, we're getting updates every 15 minutes on our cell phones. Some of the guys had to go back to the van to get the charger to charge their phones back up because they had just been, wearing the batteries down. Constantly looking at that, but watching teams, we'd posted 32 over par, and when we posted that, we knew we were 10 shots out of 4th place, the final spot. And I had coaches at that point already coming up and congratulating us and letting us know that we had made it. And I'm going, dude, I'm not buying it until it actually happens. The old chicken before the egg. don't count your eggs before they hatch, right? So anyway, I kind of got with the guys and said, look, until this thing comes to an end, we're not getting too excited. He says it's fun to be in this position, but until we get to the tail end. And then I do have to say it was pretty strange in that we were watching Central Oklahoma. We figured they were in the 4 spot. They're the team that we had to worry about. And as it turned out, Longview kind of came from nowhere as far as where they were at. They had pretty solid 3rd place at one point. And then all of a sudden, Longview started just making all kinds of bogeys and double bogeys. They had to because they quickly fell into 5th place. And, our concern for trying to find a 4 spot, all of a sudden within, kind of a last half hour of the scoring that was going on, it just almost in a blink of an eye, we were in, and it was just kind of one of those crazy things where you worry about one team, and then all of a sudden it's another one that comes from nowhere that lets you in.
Okay, looking into upcoming nationals next week, what kind of preparation are you looking for out of your team? Is there anything that changes in regards to a team preparing for this event as to any others?
No, I don't. There isn't a whole lot of change that we're going to make anyway. In fact, the guys after the second round wanted to know, because we finished again in the morning, and the guys wanted to know if we were going to come back and practice. And I go, no, we're not going to. It's almost sometimes where you got to get away from the game. So when we got back home on Thursday last week, I'd mentioned to the guys to take a couple of days off. Don't even worry about doing any kind of practice. We got plenty of time this week. In fact, a couple of the guys went home. They got jobs, and so it's nothing as a team that we're doing, but every guy knows what he's got to come up with. We are going to reassemble on Friday night, and we're going to have a little cookout over at my house, and I've invited the rest of the team, and hopefully those guys show up, and we kind of have a little send-off, cook-off, so to speak. Then we're going to have a 18-hole kind of a warm-up at Bay City Country Club on Saturday morning, and then head for Grand Rapids Saturday evening. Because our practice round starts on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. And then that day has the coaches and players meeting, and then there's a banquet. So we're, again, not doing a whole lot different than what we've been doing through the course of the year, and that is, kind of letting the guys get themselves prepared in their own parts of the game that they need to work on.
All right. Thanks for your time, Coach, and good luck this next week.
Thank you. Should be fun.